What is going on, everybody? Welcome here to the Purple and Gold podcast. Today, we had a crazy game against the Chicago Bears. So, of course, what are we going to do? We're going to hop on here and we're going to talk about it because this, I would argue, has been the most intense game. I mean, my heart was beating, okay? There was no reason why we should have been in an overtime period, but we were there nonetheless, and we ended up with the victory. And oddly enough, I do feel like this was one of our better, more well-rounded performances. Just a very weird game for both sides. So let's go over it, right? I want to highlight all of the good things. I think the way that I'm going to be doing these game recaps essentially is if we win, let's talk about the good things. And if we lose, let's get it all out. Let's rant and let's just talk about things that we want to complain about. But today we got that win. So let's highlight a lot of those good things. Okay. First things first. Okay. And I've been waiting for this kind of let's get back on track game from Sam Darnold, and we got it finally today, right? Because these last 2 weeks, we've had some hiccups here against Tennessee and then against Jacksonville, and even Indianapolis wasn't a super clean game. Today, we got a very clean game against what I would say is a pretty good pass defense. Their run defense has a lot to be worked on. They do have the pieces for it, Chicago, but their pass defense is really where they make their money, and Sam Darnold diced them up today. 22 for 34, 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the most important statistic of the day is that 0 interception mark. That's huge. I mean, that's how we're going to win games. And look at how thin the margin was today, right? 1 turnover, and how different does this game look? What does the outcome look like? We have no idea. But we don't have to worry about it because Sam Darnold played an awesome game. And kudos again to Nick Mullins coming in, throwing a crucial pass on a 3rd and 12, getting that done to Aaron Jones. Huge. I mean, he did it against the Jets as well, so we know if he needs to come in, he can make it through. I mean, we've seen it last year, but, it's huge to have those plays. And he comes in completely cold and can execute. But Sam Darnold, I cannot make enough emphasis on how he played today. I mean, he is the reason why we won this game. He made every right decision. Anytime that there wasn't a play down the field, he took the check down or he threw it out of bounds. He was able to extend the play. Look, if Sam Darnold plays like this, right, I mean, there's no reason why we can't win every game because of the defense that we have on the other side. Now, 18, okay? Now, Daryl Johnston, okay? I was getting fed up with his commentating throughout the game. He was just rambling and saying all kinds of stuff that just didn't make a ton of sense to me. And he was like, Justin Jefferson is a non-factor in this game. He's like, non-statistical, or non-factor statistically. Okay, shut it, okay? We all know what Justin Jefferson does. They even highlighted it throughout the course of the game. He demands so much coverage. I mean, pretty much every play today, he was double covered. And when he wasn't, okay, Jalen Johnson had 2 crucial pass interferences, which ended up being first downs, right? One of them should have been a touchdown if it weren't for that grab of the jersey that prevented him from getting the touchdown. And then the 3rd down on the in-breaking route on the dig. Like, Justin Jefferson had a huge impact on today's game. And you know who benefited the most from it? It was Jordan Addison on the opposite side. I mean, Jordan Addison, right? He made his mind heard a couple weeks back when he said free 3. We are giving him the football now. And look at what it's done to our offense. It has just really opened things up where you have a game. And, again, I'm going to give more props to Sam Darnold. Like, when your number 1 receiver is not getting open, and it's not his fault, it's just what the defense is giving him, and you need to go to your second option or go find someone else and just keep connecting throughout the course of the game. I mean, both guys need to step up big time, and they did. Jordan Addison, this is by far his best game of the season so far. I expect this type of production to continue from him, but what a huge game from Addison. Every time the ball went his way, he caught the ball and made something happen with it after the catch. Jordan Addison. There's a reason why we took him in the first round. There's a reason why we need to continue to get him the ball. Huge performance from him. Now, somebody I want to highlight, okay? And he's not going to be around for much longer. But John Parker Romo, okay? This isn't even a hot take. He will be kicking for another team in the NFL this season, okay? Because there's been a lot of kicker injuries. There's been a lot of mishaps. I mean, look at Austin Seibert today. Right? I mean, he's not going to get cut. He's had a good season. But what I'm saying is that kickers are needed around the league. And John Parker Romo hasn't missed a field goal attempt this year. Does have a missed extra point. But, I mean, you send him out there, you need 3 points. John Parker Romo is going to put it through the uprights. Now, some teams might have some questions on can he make a field goal 50-plus yards because we haven't seen that from him yet. But I mean, look, he's delivering in the clutch. Everything looks smooth. The operation looks awesome. John Parker Romo, a huge reason why we've been able to get these 3 wins in these last 3 weeks. So, I mean, you can't ask for more than what we've gotten out of John Parker Romo these last few weeks, filling in for the injured Will Reichard. So, again, a lot of good things. And again, adversity. I mean, you hear Kevin O'Connell talk about it all the time, whether it's in his press conferences or in the post-game locker room speeches that he does after we win. It's how are we going to respond to adversity? That's a huge thing and a huge topic of discussion here in the Vikings locker room. And Cam Robinson goes out, David Quessenberry steps in. He had an all right day, but again, considering that he's technically our 3rd string tackle at this point, I mean, he played really well. And then Ivan Pace, Kamu Grugier-Hill coming in for him. Ivan Pace is so huge to this run game and what he's able to do disrupting in the passing game as well. Pass coverage has a lot to be desired, but his ability to put pressure on the quarterback, he's essentially another edge rusher out there. We saw his impact very early on in the game when DeAndre Swift held him early, I think it was in the 1st or 2nd drive. So like he has that type of impact on the defense. We need him out there. Very unfortunate. I just hope that for Cam Robinson and Ivan Pace, these are not long-term injuries because these are 2 really key X-factor players on our team at this stage of the season. So a lot of good things. I mean, on the defensive side, Jonathan Grenard continues to be a monster off the edge, probably one of the best free agent acquisitions, not just for the Vikings, but in the NFL as a whole. And again, this defense plays as a team, right? There isn't one player that really stands out. It's different guys making plays every week, and that's the reason why this defense is so good. Like, when I look at this defense today, can I pinpoint one person who I said, oh yeah, this guy absolutely wrecked the game? No. The defense as a whole plays so well. It's so nice to see a defense where guys are just swarming, whether the ball is in the air, whether the ball is on the ground, or they're just running the football. Like, guys are getting after it. They're swarming. You have purple jerseys everywhere around the football. You'll love to see it. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I would like to see improved here heading into next week against Arizona. Arizona's a good team leading the NFC West currently right now. So this could be a potential playoff team down the road, and we have to get these wrinkles out. So first things first, we've got to get Justin Jefferson more involved, okay? I understand the coverage was extremely tight today. I mean, not only do you have Jalen Johnson on him, which, although he had the pass interferences, as I talked about earlier, this is a really, really good cornerback. I mean, we're talking top 5, you could argue top 3 cornerback in the league. And on top of that, you're getting bracketed from whether, it's the high with the safety over the top, some linebacker over the middle. We saw a lot of Kyler Gordon shading over him today, who is also a good slot cornerback in his own regards. But we need to get him the ball, whether it's through a jet sweep, whether it's through a screen, whether you put him in the backfield and just hand off the football to him. Justin Jefferson needs to get more touches, okay? I understand you want to hit him over the middle with those dig routes that work so well for us. And he's an elite football player. There's no doubt about it. That's why he gets as much attention as he does. But we just need to get him the ball, right? At the end of the day, your playmakers need to get the ball, and you need to find creative ways to do it, because throughout the course of the game, it just wasn't happening, right? I mean, no matter how good this guy is, a 2v1 against high caliber cornerbacks like the Bears have is almost an impossible feat. And that's exactly what happened today. Luckily, we have another guy who is more than capable of being a wide receiver 1 on the opposite side, but Justin Jefferson needs to get the ball. He got the targets, but the ball needs to be in his hand. And like I said before, right? Whether you throw it to him on a quick and easy screen, or it is as simple as a run play, heck, give it to him on the inside zone, Justin Jefferson needs to get the ball. And I know Kevin O'Connell is more than capable of doing that as our offensive coordinator. Yeah, okay. Now, Jalen Nailor, this dude needs to get benched, okay? Just flat out. Jalen Nailor needs to get benched, okay? I know he scored a touchdown today, but he had another crucial drop that, should have moved the chains. We should continue to have the ball in our possession and, potentially go down and score. We are a good offense. There's no doubt about that. And opportunities like that just completely put things to waste. Sam Darnold was having such a good day, and you just don't need something like that to just stunt what's going on. Now, I was going to say, let's put Brandon Powell in there, but Brandon Powell, I don't know how much of it is his fault because they tried to do a switch concept right there where he ended up picking one of the defenders, and Justin Jefferson almost had a touchdown on that play. But I would love to see Brandon Powell in here more instead of Jalen Nailor. I mean, throughout the course of these last 4 games, Jalen Nailor has just not been good. He has not been able to catch the ball consistently. And as a wide receiver, I mean, that's your job, right? And I understand that Kevin O'Connell wants to give this positive reinforcement to his players, showing how much trust he has in them and, reiterating the faith that he has in his players. But at a certain point, guys need to be held accountable, right? And I know at some point, they'll pull the string, and they did that with Ed Ingram, replacing him with Dalton Reisner last week. But it takes a little bit of time, and I just wonder when is the time going to be up for Jalen Nailor, because as talented as the guy may be, he's got to be able to catch the ball, right? I mean, you look back even to last week, right, with that huge play that would have essentially ended the game much sooner against Tennessee. He drops that deep post where Darnold again lays it right in the basket. Again, these are things that need to be fixed. Even the defense is not clutch. I mean, we saw it even against Detroit. Like, when we need this defense to come up with a big stop, they can't do it. And this is something that I think Brian Flores needs to take a look at over the course of this week, because we've seen it one too many times where we just want this defense to be the thumper and just end this thing against good offenses, right? I mean, we're a great defense, but we need to respond to good offenses. We've seen it against the Mac Jones and the Will Levises of the world, but like when we're going up against high caliber quarterback play, we need to just shut it down. Our 2-minute defense, our 4-minute defense for that matter, just needs to be tightened up a little bit. It happens every time. We just get diced up so easily, and I don't understand it. I mean, it's just the creativity just goes right out the window once we hit that later stage of the game. And again, like, it's going to come down to it again, whether it's against like the Packers or the Lions, right? I mean, I don't know. I think this defense is really good, but when it matters, oh boy, my faith kind of deteriorates. I'm not going to lie. And if we're being completely honest, the Bears had a lot of missed opportunities today, right? I mean, from all of the incomplete passes, with like the Cole Kmet's drop. I mean, I don't know how many times Keenan Allen dropped the ball, or there was just a miscommunication on something. It's good on us that we were able to capitalize on those things, but again, there's going to be good teams down the road who are going to have those things fixed, and they're not going to have those bumps and bruises throughout the course of the game. Like, remember, Chicago is still a team that's under 500. Division games are always tough, right? You can never, I mean, look at the Titans today. They beat the Texans. You can never overlook a division opponent. These games are always going to be close. And again, in a tight race for the NFC North, where we're going to have to play the Packers one more time, and we're going to have to play Detroit one more time, they're not going to miss as many opportunities as the Bears did today. So again, there is a lot to be fixed, but this was a great win, right? I mean, when all the momentum was going against us, from that touchdown late in the game, to the 2-point conversion, to the recovered onside kick, to the deep pass over the middle, and then to the field goal, it was like, damn. And then we lost the coin toss on top of it. And regardless of all of those circumstances, this Vikings team still came out with the victory. Again, say what you want, right? Oh, it wasn't a good win. We want to win by 2 scores against. Look, at the end of the day, you just got to find ways to win the game. And it's not like this was an ugly win by any means. No, we did a great job moving the football today. We had some really good highlights on the defensive side as well. So again, I think this is one that we should be really happy with as Vikings fans. Another week, still in the race for the NFC North title, which is crazy to say, because again, a lot of us didn't think that we would even be in the playoffs, and here we are. I mean, this is fantastic. I'm just grateful for this season. Sam Darnold, I'm so happy for him. I hope he can continue to do what he's doing. I mean, if we're going to look back on any week this season, it's going to be this one here against the Chicago Bears, where we're going to say, hey, if we want you to play a certain way this season, it's the way that you played against the Chicago Bears. I mean, just play in and play out. He just made the right decision every single time. You cannot ask more out of your quarterback. He played phenomenal today. And again, I didn't go over the stat lines here, but again, Darnold, 22 of 34, 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Aaron Jones, I know that his day will probably be remembered for that fumble at the 1 yard line, which also would have changed things a lot. But he ended up with 4.8 yards a carry, 22 carries for 106 yards. And then again, Jordan Addison, and even TJ Hawkinson just absolutely lit up the stat sheet later on in that game. Some really, really crucial catches, as we are accustomed to seeing from TJ Hawkinson. But Jordan Addison finishes the day here with 8 catches, 161 yards, and a touchdown. And then TJ Hawkinson finishes the day with 7 catches, 115 yards. So again, very quality win here from the Minnesota Vikings. If we can continue this, I mean, we just won 3 games consecutively on the road. Now we have a home stretch coming up here. We need to capitalize on this, okay? I mean, this is it. This is the meat of the season. This is where you find out what kind of football team you have here, and we need to just stay on the stride that we've been on, continue this hot streak, and you never know what can happen from there. So this is the Purple and Gold podcast, guys, okay? I know if you guys have been here before on the channel, a little bit of an identity crisis, but I kind of sat down and thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I love this team. I can talk about this team forever. I know this video is going to be somewhere around 20 minutes, but I could talk about this team all day if you really wanted to. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing here on this channel from now on. If you love the Minnesota Vikings as much as I do, hit that subscribe button, and until then, we'll see you guys all later. Peace.